people for coming, and also to Ubisoft just like for intros to what we're doing here. Really, just kind of here to answer questions if people have questions about the collegiate program for Rainbow Six for the upcoming league. Um, yeah, we want to kind of answer any questions. This is obviously our first year of doing an official collegiate program, so we're super excited. Or at least I am super excited. Sure, I'm speaking for Ubisoft as well, that they're super excited for this. And yeah, we just wanted to chat with people and answer questions and things like that. And yeah, that's what we're here for. So we'll be here for roughly an hour. If there's like tons of questions, maybe we'll stay a little longer, but we'll plan for an hour, and we'll take it from there. So yeah, let's begin. So I guess I'll kind of play moderator slash also question answerer at this point. So I guess first question we'll take from CBK, who's from the collegiate community in Brazil, and wants to know if there's any intention to expand the collegiate program to other countries such as Brazil.
For sure. So I'll chime in. I'm Adam. Good to meet everyone there, and certainly happy to take these questions. As Duran said, we're really excited to bring this forward, and it's our first collegiate program, so we're really excited to make this happen and finally get it off the ground. To answer the question, so this particular program is really focused for the North American audience. To be frank, of course, we have very close ties with our Brazilian community and their programs overall. I can't speak to the future. Anything is possible, but right now the program that we're operating at this point in time is strictly for North America. But certainly all options are on the table. We'll certainly see what happens.
Sweet. All right. Another question from Mend. What's Ubisoft going to be doing to support the collegiate scene? Will there be streaming options from the official Rainbow Six channel for something like the finals or anything like that?
Yep. So our goal is to remain as tight as we can with the community. We really appreciate what we've seen so far. We have very close ties right now with a lot of the other players in there, so expect some more great news to come. I don't want to reveal too much just yet, but the goal is that we want to be part of the community. And that's something very, very key to us. So you're going to be seeing more support coming from us down the road, more exciting news that we're going to likely reveal in the next couple of weeks. But discussing about streaming. So yes, we will definitely be planning to stream the finals. More to come on that a little bit later. But that definitely is the plan. We want to give it a really grand treatment, similar to how we've done it with the North American League. So we're very proud about that. Plus, there are going to be some other options and for other streaming of matches, working with the community as well too. So we'll see a lot of good opportunity to showcase the really great talent that we see from the collegiate community.
Yep. To echo that, like Adam mentioned, we are intending on streaming the finals for sure, and most likely the conference playoffs as well. And then if you guys haven't seen, we've got the community caster program that we're going to be running. That's been also used on the pro side as well, and we're going to be incorporating a similar concept for our league for the duration of the regular season and probably the beginning rounds of the playoffs too. So we want to kind of broadcast as much as possible on our side, and then also we're keeping things pretty flexible to allow for sure during the season to allow some of the teams to stream their own games because we want to promote as much of the matches to be streamed and broadcast as possible. So yes, especially for like a lot of the esports clubs and programs have some pretty advanced production departments. So yeah, kind of excited to see like what people are able to do on their own too. Okay, let's see. From Chow. I hope I'm saying that right. Somewhere down the line, is Rainbow Six going to make the transition to ranked in FACEIT servers like CS:GO? Can you clarify? Are you talking about like what are you talking about specifically? Oh, I see. Implementing FACEIT Hub in order to play TMs or matches in general in Siege. So I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but you're asking if like FACEIT and like the FACEIT platform and Rainbow Six will be sort of like incorporated together in any way for like ranked play or matchmaking. Okay, yes, that is the question. So I don't have that answer, but Adam, any ideas on that? Yeah, go ahead.
So that's something that's it's on the radar. To be honest, I don't have the answer just yet, but it's something that we are certainly looking into. And I mean, we've certainly received the feedback from the community. So I don't want to say too much just yet, but personally, I think it'd be pretty cool if we could do that. So it is on the radar for something that we would like to ideally roll out down the road.
Moss, yes, right now. We are I know on the pro side, we are using both BattleEye and Moss together, and our intention is to use the same for our league. While it's not the best solution, I think right now, at least to my knowledge, it presents the best solution currently available. So I think that's what we're going to be going for.
Correct.
Okay. So question, is there going to be any oversight in regulations or standards to prevent top teams who placed high skilled teams or highly placed teams in previous Rainbow Six tournaments from playing in the rec leagues? Right now, I would say not specifically. I think the idea is to make it a choice. I would say that the rec league doesn't have any cash prize. So I don't see what incentive a like very high skilled team would have to participate in the rec league versus playing in the Rainbow Six Collegiate Championship. But theoretically, I guess they could if they wanted to. The other thing to note is that you can't play in both leagues. So, for example, if there was a like very high skilled team that for some reason wanted to play in the rec league, they wouldn't be able to play in the Rainbow Six Collegiate Championship. So I'd say that if I was a high skilled player, I would not want to play in the rec league. But as of right now, at least, there's theoretically like we're theoretically leaving it open to choice. That's certainly something that we'll look at and see how it goes. The rec league is aimed to be more casual. So the goal of rec league is definitely not to have like super high skills stomping on more casual players. So that's definitely not the intention of it. And hopefully the fact there's no like specific prize pool for it will kind of be the demotivator for people to do that. But if that becomes an issue, we'll certainly look at evaluating that policy in the future to kind of like specifically set barriers for the rec league. But yeah, as of now, no specific gatekeeping going on. So analytics taken for the championship league, and if so, how will that be tracked? That's a good question. Don't have a specific answer for that right now. I think we would certainly want to track that, but I don't know right now off the top of my head sort of the best method. I think people can, for example, send screenshots of their wins afterwards. That is a method that could be used. But yeah, I don't know for sure. Although I do think that there would be a lot of value added to doing something like that. Is the rec league going to be streamed? The rec league won't be streamed on the official stream. We might do some rec league streaming as part of the community caster program, but otherwise, definitely open to have people stream it. But there's no official rec league stream plans for now. So next other question: how's FACEIT planning to structure their production environment? Right. So some concerns have been raised by the lack of observers or producers. So there's two points to this. One is for the regular season, like I mentioned earlier, we're basically opting to go with community casters, and so we're doing a program that's very similar to what we have done on the pro side. So we're going to be working with casters who have sent in applications, which we have received many of them. So we're going to be working with them. We're going to be helping them by providing graphics packages and things like that to help level up their streams. Um, and then we're also in terms of the vetting process, we're vetting for different quality um, standards and things like that to make sure that the casters we choose to do casting for the community program are able to broadcast in high quality and up to a certain level of standards. And then for the official broadcasts for the finals and possibly conference finals or conference playoffs, those I can have Adam correct me if I'm wrong, but our plan is to use the professional broadcast crew and studio and mirror the setup that we're using on the professional side to
Yep.
really make like a very polished high level experience.
Sorry for cutting you off, but yep, you got it 110%. That's really the plan. We want to give this a ton of love and really make sure that it looks fantastic. So that's really the point of piggybacking off of what we have for the North American League and being able to tie that in with the collegiate platform.
Cool. So other question, are the finals going to be a LAN event? Right now it's highly TBD just based on COVID and what happens. I think we would all say that we want to have a live event. Whether it happens this season or not is really a TBD. Honestly, I think we're keeping our options open, but right now, like just kind of waiting to see what happens with COVID in the next 3-4 months, what things are looking like early in the spring, and then we'll probably make a decision based on that. But we certainly want to get to a point um, where we are having a live event, because I think that's kind of like the highlight of most people's competitive collegiate experiences is playing on a stage um, in front of people. So that's definitely the goal. I would think that if we don't have one this year, we presumably would in year two of the program. But I think options are open right now.
And and just to chime in on that, I mean, safety is always the number one concern, and we'll have to really see and assess how things are going over the next few months, which is the unfortunate reality we're all living. But the dream of the program was always to have a grand live event. So it would suck if we can't do it in 2021 for the finals. It is what it is in a sense, but there is a world where, as soon as we can, we would absolutely love to put on a great production and do it justice. So that's very much part of the plan. It's all based on how things are going to play out over the next couple of months.
Yep. Okay. When is feedback on caster applications going to be given? So right now we have collected everything. We haven't really reviewed yet, just because the community caster program is not officially starting until spring. We're not planning on making the preseason part of the official program. So we're probably going to start looking at the applications in the next couple weeks. Right now, we've been pretty focused on getting the preseason registration and promoting that and getting things ready to go for preseason. Once that kind of gets underway, then we'll start reviewing the applications. So I would think probably by the end of October, we'll probably start communicating with the applicants. Um, yeah, and we'll start the review process probably in about 2 weeks. Let's see. Regular season games, can they be streamed by colleges? Yeah, regular season games, totally open to have the schools and teams themselves stream their games. I think the only caveat, and I don't remember off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure we have something that addresses this in the rules, but the caveat being, if you are streaming your own match, we want you to implement stream delays, and then obviously there's sort of disclaimer that if you stream, there's always a potential risk of you know um, of cheating and things like that. So as long as people are aware of what the risks are and implement proper stream delays to mitigate against that, we're very supportive of teams streaming their own games. Could you be a caster for another game if you're not playing? Do you mean another game like CS:GO, or like could you be a caster for the league but also a player in the league? Okay. Yeah. I don't think there's an issue with that. If you're on a team that's playing, and you also want to be a community caster, I think that's fine. Obviously, timing is going to be the issue. Um, but yeah, obviously, for example, if a broadcast conflicts with your match, rescheduling your match because of having to cast a game wouldn't be a viable excuse. But as long as you can kind of manage your own schedule accordingly, there's nothing technically wrong with doing that if you want to. Recorded VODs being casted and broadcasted. Sure. I think I don't have any problems with that. Unless if you're asking, will the community casts be sort of broadcast from recorded VODs, or will they be live? I would say that's currently TBD. Um, I think like the mechanics of how we plan on actually implementing the community casting, we're still kind of working out whether we want to do live games, how that works specifically, if we want to cast off of VODs, things like that. We're still working out the mechanics. So question, how will the FACEIT casting program intersect with the in the works plan to have our community caster application similar to what ESL had? Can you explain what ESL did? I don't know what ESL did. Okay, so let's see. I think I understand. So the plan here is that we're currently taking in applications for community casters. At the end of the process, once we vet everybody and review, our plan is to basically say these are sort of the official sanctioned community casters for the program, and they will be essentially kind of carved out in the rules. So, like for example, um, we might say that if FACEIT wants to broadcast a game, um, the teams need to allow the FACEIT casters to cast their game. So essentially, the community casters will kind of have that carve out. So, for example, I don't know, U of A is playing ASU, and that's like a really cool match that we want to feature. Um, one of the community casters can pick that game to broadcast. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
I also noticed that we didn't address the player skins. So just answering that one quickly. Main reason is how certain skins can affect the integrity of the match, certainly affecting the gameplay. For example, if a certain character is camouflage, for example, it's something that it's a rule that we basically implemented in our regular leagues. So something that we're carrying over to Collegiate here to maintain that level of integrity and fairness to all players. So it's basically a general rule that we chose to carry over from our main competitive realm.
Cool. Sticula, did I answer your question? I'm not 100% sure if I did or not. So while Sticula is typing, will there be special voice channels for casters, producers on team streams to ensure they're not communicating with their team? Right now, we are still kind of working out the mechanics of how we want to sort of manage the broadcasting of this. So don't have an answer right now, but if there's any feedback for how you guys think a system can be implemented in a way that is sort of upholds the integrity of the competition and is fair and makes sense, certainly open to ideas and feedback. So yeah, please let us know. Because right now we don't specifically have the details worked out yet for how we plan on running broadcasts and kind of managing that. Okay, let's see. Is FACEIT or Ubisoft lending any support to universities that are playing by tweeting out the matches? Yes, I will say on the FACEIT side, 100% yes, for sure. We're actually launching our own FACEIT Collegiate Twitter probably this week. And that's probably going to be the main place where we're going to be doing a lot of promotion. And then we will also likely be doing some promotion from the general FACEIT R6NA channel as well. And then, yeah, so for sure on our side, we very much want to promote really anything. So I would say T Money is the go-to person if you think there's cool stuff that your school or esports club or team has going on, whether it's like a streamed match or even if you're running like an intramural tournament or something. Like if you think there's something cool that you've got going on that's pertains to Rainbow Six, like 100% please let us know about it so that we can promote it and talk about it. I'll also say that throughout the year we want to produce content, write stories, do videos, and things like that that really highlight what teams and clubs and Rainbow Six players are doing throughout the year. We just released our first highlight video. We did a quick little like interview thing video that we put out recently. So we're super into promoting what you guys are doing. So if again, like if you've got anything that's going on Rainbow Six related, we definitely want to know about it so we can hype you up and make some cool content to showcase what you guys are doing.
One question I think we missed was in relation to the R6 Share program and some of these skins allowed there. So, yes, the ones that are considered like esports skins will be allowed, but we'll be confirming publicly what is and what isn't, unless it's noted. So you will see the ability to use those in play, or some of them anyway.
Okay, let's see. So yes, when does the season start? So the preseason registration ends October 5th. So that this image needs to be updated, but the preseason starts October 10th, and then the actual season begins January 9th. So we're gonna start pretty much once the preseason registration ends. We'll start registering for the actual season. But yeah, preseason starts October 10, which is next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. If I have my calendar right, yes, next weekend. Next weekend preseason begins. Is there a plan to expand best of fives to all the playoffs instead of just the finals? I would say right now, probably not, but definitely something that we can look at for the future. Well, I guess first we'll see what happens in preseason, and then we can kind of assess. But at least, like off the top of my head, I will say probably not best of fives all the way through. Oh, okay. So you're asking about Sticula. You're asking whether there will be sort of any connection between like the FACEIT community casting program and sort of like any of the other community casting programs across like other aspects of the Rainbow Six program. Got it. Adam, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, just rereading it myself, just make sure I'm giving you the proper answer. So that's actually a great question. That's something that we are starting to look at and see what we could do. To be perfectly transparent, I don't have an answer at this point in time. But the idea is that we would love to be able to grow what we do with the community, offering more opportunities to cast overall, whether it be collegiate or otherwise. So the short answer is we're working on it. But this is definitely something that's on the radar, and I think would be great to roll out as time goes on. So expect more news and more opportunities to roll out as time goes on.
Recruitment events with Ubisoft or FACEIT for work opportunities. I I can't speak for Ubisoft on this, but certainly sounds like an awesome idea. I can say on the FACEIT side, yes, this is definitely something that I personally plan on implementing. Just as a quick background, this is, I've now been here for 5 months. Since I started at FACEIT. So we're still like really establishing the collegiate program here, but I do intend on on creating internship opportunities, both in our LA office and for eventually once if we expand to Europe at our European office in London, but also potential recruitment because we're hiring all the time for various different positions. So um, on the FACEIT side, for sure, yes to that question.
Yep. And on the Ubisoft side, I mean, we have done other events where we've had recruitment campaigns going on. I mean, short answer is it's could be on the table. I think we'll look at each opportunity as they arise. But we've done similar things in the past, so I think anything is possible. Is a fair answer.
Okay, what else do we got? Are we allowed to have our own casters, cast and hosts, and spectate games? Yes. Um, I've said as well earlier, but for the regular season, 100% yes. Teams and esports clubs are able to stream their own matches. Whether we will allow a team to stream its own match that a community caster, for example, is also streaming, that specific piece, TBD. But then once we get into like the league playoffs, once the official like we officially take over broadcasting from the studio, at that point we will do the broadcasting. But up until then, it's going to be pretty fair game. And we may also be preparing like public graphic packages and things like that to help out as well. So TBD on that, but that's something that I would like to do as well.
And just to comment on Sticula, so thanks for that note there. As far as the casters, just coming back to that, it's something that I said before, it's on the agenda and it's on our radar. But we know there are a lot of excited people out there, and frankly, we're excited for it too. So we appreciate that support, and expect to see some good stuff coming down the road.
Reasoning behind college players not being able to participate in pro or challenger league. I think for the most part, not to say that just because college sports works a certain way that esports also should work the same way. But in this particular instance, I think there's a lot of merit to the fact that like a professional athlete isn't allowed to participate in college sports. So the dumb, like very extreme example would be like if LeBron James goes back to college um, and plays at University of Akron and plays on their basketball team, it would be very unfair for the rest of college basketball if that were to happen. So I think for the most part, the reasoning is essentially that college is supposed to be amateur. You're representing your school in an amateur-based competition, and I'm obviously personally not super familiar with kind of like the skill gaps between uh, amateur and professional Rainbow Six players. But for other games which I am familiar with, it's a very large skill gap, and it would kind of create some pretty unfair advantages if we allowed professional players to play in what is like essentially supposed to be an amateur competition, especially because there are like many other like professional level events for like a pro level player to participate in that gives them opportunities to either be on a pro team to make salary or to win prize money. um, part of the cool thing about collegiate is that it's providing college players like your sort of everyday um, amateur player the chance to win like real prize money by competing. And I think having pros as part of that competition kind of like dilutes the value for sort of everybody else.
And further to that point, unless I'm mistaken, but we obviously would not want somebody from our pro teams necessarily playing in the collegiate scene. And as cool as that might be, obviously there's a skill level and a skill gap there. And there's a good reason as to why we'd want to keep more of the amateur scene and keep people at a certain level and not necessarily have somebody like pick a pro player in the NAL divisions. But by that same token, if a collegiate player was interested and managed to, and is of age and is able to make it onto a team for the Challenger League, as far as I know, that's not prohibited. But if they are playing actively in the Challenger League, then we would ask them to step away from collegiate just because they're moving into that different league.
Sport Trick, let me double check this for you. So I'll get back to you on that question. SCC, JF Beast, our payouts in USD. Yes, the prize money listing is in USD. So if you're a Canadian, you get an extra, I don't know, $1,000,000%, because $1 US is like a million Canadian dollars. I'm just kidding, but yeah, payouts are in USD. Okay, so yes, if you're a current player for pro or challenger, you can't play. We don't. Good question on whether a former player is allowed to play. We need to discuss that. Not 100% sure. Okay. So show matches. Yes. The answer to that is yes. Any show matches, for example, top fraggers for one region versus top fraggers for another. Yes, we do intend on doing some type of fun stuff like all-star matches and things like that at some point this year. Whether it is at what point we do it, we're not sure. Personally, right now, leaning towards doing it like early in the summer. But timing, not 100% sure yet. But yeah, definitely, we 100% will do stuff like that. What made FACEIT and Ubisoft want to put so much time and money into Collegiate? I can't answer that from the Ubisoft perspective, but from the FACEIT perspective, I came over from CSL. If you guys did not know, but I founded CSL in 2009, and I have been sort of talking to FACEIT kind of off and on, potentially working together on some collegiate projects for at least 3 years. So it's something that FACEIT has been interested in for quite a while. And recently, CSL was sold to a new company. And after having been at the same place for 10 years, I wanted to kind of try something different. But I was still not sort of. I still have a lot of fun doing collegiate esports and being involved in this community. So, yeah, FACEIT was interested in establishing a collegiate program. So the second part of the question, like why invest into collegiate, aside from like personally thinking it's like a really fun place to be in the esports world, I think like from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for a company like FACEIT to invest in collegiate. So, for example, like I think the college is kind of where like a lot of people have some of their best memories, where they make some of their best friendships, and so to kind of align that with the FACEIT brand makes a lot of sense. So I can say, at least from like our standpoint, that's a big reason there. So is a player from a smaller community college that doesn't have a team allowed to join a different university's team? So we have some pretty specific rules about this. I would say the answer to that is tentative. It's possible, but it's we allow it in very limited circumstances. And the rules do a pretty good job of explaining like the criteria that we use to determine whether like you can play on another school's team. But for example, some of the things we look at is like, is there a relationship between with the two schools in an official capacity? What are the size of the schools? What are their proximity to each other? Um, and things like that. So, for example, um, for any of you that are in SoCal, um, there's a community college called Santa Monica College that has sort of like official transfer programs with UCLA. So, like if you participate in this program at Santa Monica College, within a certain amount of time, you can transfer to UCLA, and your credits will all transfer over. So, like, we look at things like that to determine whether we would allow a player from one school to play for another school. It's very limited in instances where we would allow it, but if you are looking to do that, I would recommend reading the rules and then just email collegiate@faceit.com with as much info as possible, and then we will take a look. Is it a requirement to be 18 to be eligible for the casting program? No. We don't specifically have a rule, an age limit. So feel free to apply. Is there a plan to support content creators? I guess it depends on what you mean by support. I don't think we have, in terms of monetary support, probably not. But we certainly will promote content. So we can definitely help promote Rainbow Six related content, and in fact, I would certainly encourage, if you are creating Rainbow Six content, especially if it's collegiate content, of course, just feel free to reach out to us. Tiffany, in particular, she is always looking for leads and stuff to to promote and write about and produce from a video perspective. So yeah, definitely, um, definitely, we want to promote content as much as we can. And Tiffany is the one you want to talk to. She wants all the contents. All right. What other questions do we've got? Anything else? Monthly 10 mans? Yes. Yeah, we intend on supporting the hub throughout the entire year. We feel pretty strongly that the hub is like really cool, and we want to promote it as much as possible. I think it's like a really cool way for people like in the Rainbow Six community to just play with and interact with people that they may not otherwise have had a chance to in league play or whatever. So I think it's like a big benefit personally. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be supporting the hub throughout the school year, and I believe we're going to be making some changes and additions to it fairly soon. I don't know if we've announced it yet, so I won't spoil anything. But yeah, the hub will be supported throughout the year. Is there a limit to the number of intramural events that you're allowed to host? No. Definitely let us know about them so we can support them and promote them, though, for sure. I'm sure you know that we've got a program to help support you guys hosting intramurals. So we're very much on board with doing so, and the more the better. Are there rules on the servers that teams are going to be playing matches on? Good question. I'm not 100% sure. Let me get back to you in a minute. Yeah, my impression is that we're going to be basing it off of location. This is partly the reason why we are also creating the conferences regionally. So you're going to be grouped with teams that are nearby to you for the most part. So hopefully server locations will be not a huge issue. When it comes to the playoffs, when various different regions are playing against each other, that will still be TBD on the best and most fair way to do it. So, um, yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, that's definitely a good question. So yeah, I definitely think that for the regular season, no issue at all, because we're specifically organizing by region. So you should ideally be playing on servers that make the most sense for you. For what happens when like there's cross region play in the playoffs, we will figure that out, and then I'll make sure to get back to you. All right. Anything else? All right. So regarding servers, the rules have a list of settings that we copied from Pro Leagues, but we'll make sure to update the rules for default servers soon. So goal for the season. I can speaking for myself. Um, Goal for the season is I mean, I think like at a very basic level, goal is make sure that on at least our side that we do a good job. Um, Number one. Number two is that people have fun participating in the league and sort of the other activities that we're supporting, such as, for example, intramurals or watch parties or the hub. Um, like I'm really interested in just making sure that like people who are participating have a good experience and that like we're doing a good job. Um, I think honestly, as long as we're doing as long as we're doing our job properly, everything else should theoretically fall into place. So that's personally like number one priority. I think number two priority is really kind of establishing a Rainbow Six, um, the collegiate scene for Rainbow Six. I mean, I know that there have been, like CEA and CR6 and previously CRSL have been around for between 2 and 3 years now. And so, like, we're not kind of coming into a blank space in this sense, right? There's a scene that exists already. So that is great. But right now, like, the other goal is to like use sort of this official support from Ubisoft to really legitimize the collegiate scene, similar to kind of how like League of Legends is like a very well-known commodity right now with like its CLOL program. Um, so it's building off of the community that already exists and leveling it up through being able to do things like offer a much larger prize pool, potentially offering like a really awesome LAN event in future years, right? So we want to help increase the legitimacy, and then goal number three, from my perspective at least, don't want to speak for Ubisoft here, but goal number three for me is to really show like varsity programs in particular that Rainbow Six is a game that's worth investing in. Um, I've talked to a bunch of programs just as part of doing outreach for this league, and I know that one thing that varsity programs and universities officially like to see is like a very consistent schedule. They like to see publisher support, things like that. But there's been a lot of hesitation in adopting like scholarships for Rainbow Six right now. So I guess my third big goal is really to kind of use this year to really show varsity universities that have varsity programs that they should be taking Rainbow Six seriously, because I would love to see more schools offering scholarships for Rainbow Six. I think that would be one of the coolest things that we could do to help the community grow. Expectation for the number of colleges? No, not really. if I'm not mistaken, CEA and CR6 have somewhere between 100 and 150 teams. I think so. We have a I think we have a rough idea of the current size of the community, um, but I don't think we have any like exact number of like schools that we're shooting for. For the most part, like I'll be happy if like every uh, college student that plays Rainbow Six is at least aware of the league. That will be a huge win. Um, but other than that, there's not a specific number we're looking at for participation. We're a little bit past 4, so it's been about an hour. I'm definitely willing to stick around. We've had some really awesome questions. I'm willing to stick around for like 5-10 more minutes if there are more questions. Mig's question, right? Will there be separated social media pages for the league, or will we be using the FACEIT Rainbow Six social media pages? We are going to be launching our official FACEIT Collegiate Twitter and socials most likely this week. So a lot of our promotion will start coming from the official Collegiate channels. So it'll be probably a mix between our FACEIT Collegiate channel, which will be like the primary vehicle, the FACEIT channel, the general FACEIT Rainbow Six channel, and then probably the Ubisoft channels. All right, we'll give it 2 more minutes, see if there are other questions. Otherwise, we will call it for the day. But yeah, very appreciative of people that showed up. A lot of good questions. Appreciate it. Hope you guys thought that this was useful. We will if people think that if this was useful and fun, we will certainly look to do more of these throughout the year. Probably at different touch points. Perhaps, for example, maybe we'll do another one at the end of the preseason. Maybe we'll do one like towards the end of the playoffs or something, leading into next year. But definitely want to keep in touch with everybody. I think you all know where to find us. We're pretty much on Discord all the time. I think we respond pretty quickly for the most part. So if anything comes up, like feel free to reach out and ask. And really, just to reiterate, if anyone has like anything going on at their school, whether it be like tournaments or watch parties or streams or cool stories or really anything that like is going on Rainbow Six related that you want us to promote and amplify, like please reach out. We want to kind of use the channels that we have available to us to promote you guys. So yeah, appreciate thanks for coming out, guys and gals. And yeah, make sure to sign up if you haven't signed up. Preseason registrations still going on. October 5. So don't miss the deadline. Don't be a typical college student and wait till the last minute. Submit your homework early. But yes, feedback, anything like that, please let us know. You know where to find us. And sign up for preseason. Yeah, thanks everyone.